As the sport evolves, so does its rules. And considering that the first documented hockey game took place nearly 150 years ago, we have seen hundreds, if not thousands, of rule changes. Some of them crucial to the success of the game, like when they started allowing goalies to drop down to make a save in 1917, and some of them hilariously absurd, like modifying an existing rule after Brad Marchand went on a licking tear.
And after his usual antics, it is a night of spite.
But that's the thing. Most rule changes are made organically, natural changes that hopefully evolve the game to be better. However, some rule changes are more or less forcefully put in place because of a single player.
The NHL implemented shootouts for the 2005-2006 season to decide games still tied after the 5-minute overtime period.
And the NHL's first ever shootout is about to begin. Doing it. Heatley scores! And the Ottawa Senators win the...
In the summer of 2005, the NHL would announce a groundbreaking rule change. Shootouts. We're very accustomed to this format now, but for decades, NHL games could just end in a tie, which proved to be very inefficient and just unsatisfying to watch. I can't even imagine a game today ending with no winner. And although we are blessed today with the implementation of 3-on-3 overtime, for over a decade, the shootout was the NHL's attempt to end ties and add some flair and excitement to the game. It was only a matter of time until it was exploited.
Mikhail Grabowski, who started the comeback. Ovechkin. Yo, what a play! Holy mackerel!
Players began to realize, by pulling a spinorama, you had a much higher chance of scoring. In a league where the most elite skill players in the world exist, NHL goalies now had to try to predict this move, which of course made it a very polarizing goal. Some fans loved the flair, but others absolutely despised it. Surprisingly though, it would not be banned right away. In fact, it's hard to trace down, but from what I can gather, the actual first rendition of this in a shootout was from Jason Blake in 2008.
On Clemenson. Spins, shoots, goal! Wow!
And for the next 6 years, we would see numerous players attempt this gutsy move. However, as it started to gain more and more popularity throughout the league, in 2014, the NHL would ban the use of spinoramas in any shape or form in shootouts. And this is because there was a lot of gray area when it came to maintaining forward momentum.
Let's take a look at that. There he stops. Now watch where he comes back across the crease. I'll tell you what, I don't know if that's continuous motion.
In any shootout, a player is not allowed to come to a complete stop, nor is he or she allowed to skate backwards. So once the league realized this was a growing concern, they would announce the ban hammer heading into the 2014-2015 season. But what do you guys think? Should it really have been banned? And on another note, if you enjoy the videos, make sure to press subscribe for some more awesome hockey content. We are only now around 1,000 subscribers away from 40,000. So any support would really make my day. Okay, I want you, the viewer, to highlight the similarities between these clips.
Now Ray got the sweater off again, trying to will it over top. He just kept teeing off on Kevin Kaminsky. Frank Dixon.
The National Hockey League had to invent a rule so that this guy, Rob Ray, would stop taking off his shirt. But to be completely honest, this strategy was genius. We all know that getting hit to the face is the money shot in any fight, so in an attempt to prove his ability to win fights, Rob Ray would strip down in almost all of his brawls, in order to gain mobility and prevent the opposing fighter from being able to grab on to his equipment. And so all of a sudden, Rob Ray doesn't have his heavy equipment on, weighing him down and restricting his movements. But that's not all. Rob Ray was also heavily rumored to apply Vaseline to his entire upper torso to make himself slippery and hard to grab onto, which definitely improved his ability to win fights. I don't know what it is, but I just find the image of that to be hilarious. So, in attempts to counteract this behavior, the NHL would announce the introduction of Rule 46.13, aka Rob Ray put on your shirt rule, which bans the action of removing your jersey during a fight. And if you are caught doing so, you will be removed from the rest of the game. And it's why players can't tamper with their jersey straps. For decades, fighting was a crucial part of our game. I mean, there's many fans who would pay to go see games just to witness Rob Ray and his shenanigans. However, the NHL has seen a drastic decline in fights. Just in 2009, the NHL saw fights in 41% of the games. 3 years later, that number would fall to 34%. Another 3 years, that number would again decrease by 7%. And in 2019, we would see fights in only about 16% of the games. And like I mentioned in part 1, also go watch it if you haven't already. My quality has gotten much better, so I don't really like recommending old videos, but it still holds up. But being that we are discussing Rob Ray and his fighting, I only find it fitting to ask, do you guys think fighting should exist in our current game, or will it fade away just as fast as Rob Ray's shirt?
Let's see, touch zone, and Ryan Hartman put his arm up as well.
Every now and then, we see goaltenders get this absurd penalty. And if you're younger or maybe just a newcomer to the game, you may question this seemingly over-the-top penalty for a goalie who only takes one step out of their trapezoid. And I don't blame you. And this penalty exists because of this man or actor, Martin Brodeur. Known mostly for his rental car commercials, Brodeur was also known for his game-breaking puck handling abilities.
That one from Chara was one of the easier ones. A loss in. Score!
Brodeur got so efficient at stopping the puck behind his net, it became a massive issue, as he could stop the puck and quickly get it out. And the NHL had to ban this action and create a brand new rule because they feared it would hurt goal production. And I mean, they were probably right. If half the time the puck goes into the zone, it can get stopped by a goaltender and shot right back out, it can lead to a lot of boring neutral zone action. And of course, the inability to create offense, which in turn is only going to hurt goal output. And not every goalie was blessed with elite puck handling ability. But Brodeur was so elite, the NHL had to put a stop to it. It was one of his biggest strengths, and a strength that would lead the New Jersey Devils to the Stanley Cup Finals 4 times in a 10-year span. In 1963, the NHL draft would be created, as it allowed for more parity in the NHL, thus progressing the growth and development of our game. And throughout the past 60-odd years, the draft has seen numerous changes, like introducing the anti-Edmonton Oilers draft lottery system to prevent tanking, or even just the age which teams are allowed to draft a player at. But what is easily the most absurd rule change was actually invented from a player who never existed. As we see the draft today, there are 31 teams and 7 rounds. Therefore, with some quick maths, every year the NHL sees about 217 new players. Maybe minus a couple of them because of Arizona. But back in the 70s, the NHL had major competition. The World Hockey Association, or the WHA. And they had a mission to grow their market share. And what happened is basically a free-for-all from both leagues trying to sign and steal players from each other. And one of the absurd effects stemmed from this competition was to draft as many known prospects as possible. Again, today we have 7 rounds. But back then, there was up to 25 rounds. 25. And they did this to claim the rights for as many prospects as possible. And as an attempt to basically mock this process, the Buffalo Sabres would pull the prank of the decade, as they would draft Taro Tujimoto. Except, Taro didn't even exist. In fact, his name came from a local Japanese farm. And they would run this joke to the extent that they would set up a fake stall in the next training camp. And especially because Japan is a very untraditional market, even today, imagine how teams were feeling when they thought Buffalo found a hidden gem from Japan. And this legendary act of mockery would soon lead to the NHL restricting the amount of rounds in every draft. And today, of course, Taro is still a legend in the Buffalo fan base. But anyways guys, can you name an incident that led to an actual NHL rule change? Comment down below, I would really love to know. I really find this topic fascinating because there has been some absurd moments in hockey history. But I hope all you guys have a great holidays for whatever you celebrate. This has been a long and hard year, I'm sure for many of you guys too. So I do wish you and your families well. So make sure to press subscribe for some more awesome hockey content. See you guys later.